Alright, hey everyone, I'm Desa, and yeah, as just announced, I will be running MediEvil Resurrection right now, a remake of the original, not like the PS4 remake, but more of a creative remake, I could say. It's gonna be a fairly fast-paced run, so I might whip out info fairly quickly at the beginning, and yeah, I'd say if we're good to go, then yeah, I'd be ready. Okay. Then timer starts once I hit new game in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so yeah, fast-paced run. This game has a category called 80% no sword glitch, which means 80% uses sad sword glitch. This sword glitch is going to be pretty much the main thing in the entire run on why this game is even fast in the first place, but you might have wondered, there's a lava pool, how do I go through that? The lava pool's hitbox doesn't extend all the way up to the wall, so I'm able to hog the wall, avoid the hitbox, and grab that weapon, which is supposed to be an endgame weapon as it one-shots enemies. Now you're gonna see this. You're gonna see that a lot throughout the run. You're basically able to skip any doors that are thin. There are some specific thicker doors. There's some specific big doors that we can't skip like that, but I would say a majority of the doors, 9% or so, we can't skip because they're skippable in that case. The way that works is we can charge up our light attack. You see me swing my sword after every dash, that's just to reset my dash. And if I hold the X button, which is what I use to do the light attack, I charge up a move like this. If I then jump and dash right after I land, my speed gets added, both from the dash as well as from the thrust move, from the charge move. Meaning I will be able to clip through thin objects or hitboxes. You see that right here. Usually it's on doors, but some occasions like that boulder are fairly thin as well, where I can just zip right through it. And we're going to use that for the majority of the run to just skip a lot of things. We're going to skip big portions of some levels, and I think we're skipping 3 levels in total with this method. That's why levels are going to be fairly quick, and the run is actually like 20 minutes faster than if you wouldn't do that. Now, there are a few mandatory items we have to collect. Some of them are right here. In this case, the so-called spade and the witch's talisman. The spade is just to collect some items later on, while the witch's talisman is something we need to collect required items throughout the story. The spade is not quite optional, but you need it in one level and a few levels in a bit. So I'm gonna grab this spade right here, zip through that door, zip through this one. Oh, I didn't get through that. Sometimes if you angle yourself weirdly, it just won't put you through, and my controls just screwed up for a second. Okay, they're good again. There, we're gonna jump on... Okay. We're gonna jump on this cauldron. It's a little hard, and then basically use that little dash to get up and skip a lot of movement in this level. Now we're gonna equip the club, because it helps us breaking the rocks that are not coated in metal. Well, normal rocks are just getting one-shot by the club. The metal balls destroy the metal rocks destroy the normal rocks as well. But if they're in our way, we just need to get rid of them. It doesn't even lose time, because now what we're going to do is we're not going to continue. We're actually going to go back to the first level. You saw in the top right of the corner, you're going to see it in the next level again, but in the top right corner, there's a percentage counter as well as a see-through or like grayed out chalice. Every single level has a chalice that you can collect, and every defeated enemy fills up the percentage counter. It doesn't mean 100%, doesn't mean that you killed everyone, it just means that you killed enough to fill up the chalice. If you fulfill both conditions, you're getting sent to something called the Hall of Heroes, and that's basically the main way of how to unlock new weapons in this game. Those new weapons are very important because the first 2 you get are very strong. The first one, not quite as much. It helps with one of the bosses, but the second one is broken.
The Hall of Heroes. Sorry. What can I tell you? Your name's not on the list. I'm just messing. In you go.
So I just let that voice line play. And basically, every single level has a voice line before it. It's always consistent, except for the Hall of Heroes. There's about a 50-50 split on voice lines that are either, I'm gonna call it like, rather insulting towards the main character, which makes sense within the game's story, or other voice lines that are nice towards him. And pretty much every single voice line that is nice is slow, so you do want to get the mean voice lines. And that way we got a rather nice voice line, one of the slower ones. I think it's actually one of the slowest in general. And it loses quite a bit of time, but we have no control over which ones play it. Now, in the previous level, I did kill enemies to get the chalice. And right here, I'm going to do the same thing. And while I'm going to do that, we're going to have a donation read out.
Indeed we will, and it is $10 from C. Dasser, referencing the video we just saw in the intermission. And the comment is, "Oh my goodness." And that money is going towards the Fate of the Traitor in the Pirate Cove for the Paint the Town Red run, and it's going towards Kill the Traitor. So Kill the Traitor is leading $20 to 5. So yeah, keep those donations coming. We are just over $400 away from hitting 10K. Can't wait to see it happen. All right, back to you, Desa.
Okay, so you might have just seen that I clipped through that gate. Usually not something you would do. This gate, while you can't clip through it with the normal sword glitch method, as it's a little bit too thick for that method, we can somehow misplace ourselves by jumping around with backflips while locking the camera on that archway. For some reason, it just clips us inbound, and we can get out the same way. Like, we just basically hop around until we clip in. Once we clip in, we can go grab the chalice. Because, again, we're going to get the challenge in this level. Those are the quickest ones we can obtain. I'm at 100% now, so I'm going to ignore that enemy. There are, like, 7 more enemies in this area, but we're just not going to bother with any of them anymore. We're now going to go and try to finish the level by pushing this little, well, torch, yeah. We're going to push it all the way to the heart, and once that heart starts bursting, we can run off and go initiate the boss fight. Before we go for the boss fight, though, we're going to quickly grab ourselves a health flask. While they're theoretically, health bottle rather, they're optional, but very much welcome in the run, because there's going to be something upcoming later where we have to have as much health as possible. Those health flasks are basically 1-ups. You see next to my health bar, I have 2 of them right now, meaning if I have something, if you see something green in the health flasks, and wow, and I lose all my health, like I almost did just now, I'll get resurrected with one of those health flasks being taken away. Now the first boss of the run, one of the only ones we actually see, because we're actually going to skip like 2 or 3 of them. It's called the Stained Glass Demon, I believe it was. He basically is made out of that stained glass window you saw in the background that bursted now. There's a pseudo kind of manipulation you can do on him, where if you approach him after his attack right here, he will either throw shards at you or jump around. Jumping around is very, very slow, and you always want him to throw shards at you. If you stay close to him, he usually will throw them, but it doesn't work like 100% of the time, but way more often than not. Every time he takes out his heart, you can shoot at it for a little bit. And once he starts attacking, whether it be that beam just now or the shards that he shoots at you, he will go invulnerable again. So you only have a fairly small window of time where you can actually hit him. And while I'm finishing up the boss fight, we can also go for another donation.
Certainly. We have $10 from Minnie saying, "First time donating to a marathon of any sort. Just wanted to say good luck to Desa. Proud of you for getting a run at ESA."
Yo, Minnie, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. So, right on time, we killed the boss. We're going to equip the sword again because we're going to start clipping around a little bit once the game fades out. And we're going to get this stained glass key. Now, you see, the exit is right here, and potentially you might ask yourself, can you clip into that? Yes, I could skip the entire level and just clip into that thing, saving myself like 2.5 minutes, not counting the chalice that I have to collect. The problem is that that stained glass key is one of the only items in the entire game that are checked in some capacity. In this case, it is checked, or that we can't skip, because it is checked in the next level already. We have to use it to get through one of the bigger doors. You cannot get past it through sword glitch. You can get past it out of bounds, but you can't clip inbound, so there's, currently at least, no way of actually getting through it. This level is Return to a Graveyard. It's basically just a second part of the graveyard level we had early on, which was the first level after the crypt. What we're gonna do first, we're gonna just write a little bit those sarcophagus, put in the key, the stained glass key, and a door will open. This is the one that we cannot traverse. If we would find a way to get through it, we'd easily save like 2 or 2.5 minutes, and it's like probably the last big skip that can be found. But obviously, you never know. Speedrun can always lead to all kinds of things. The rest of the level will have quite a few more of those sword glitches. I think it's like 6 of them. One of them actually skipping a boss fight. Now we're gonna go through, oops, this door. Usually you'd have to go into the house that you saw on the left side, talk to the Undertaker, he'll tell you a little bit about it, and then he will open the door, but we can just ignore all that and go through. This one requires a rune, which I never touched about runes. Usually many of the doors require runes, but not collecting the runes is obviously faster because a lot of them are meant to be collected a little late. This door is a little finicky because this can happen. If you dash through, you can get sent out of the away from the platform, which you cannot really control. You can aim it at that railing you have on the right, but it's fairly weird, and usually if you aim at that, you'll just miss the door. So you kind of just thrust through it and hope that you will hit it. Now I see it says found an Anubis Stone. Aside from the glass key that I collected earlier, there's one thing that is checked in-game that we probably will not be able to skip, because there's a cutscene that will not lead you to the next level unless you have specific items, which are 3 parts of the so-called Anubis Stone, as well as the Dragon Armor. The Dragon Armor is generally not necessary. The only reason we collect it is because of the story, and the Anubis Stones, kind of same deal. Because you never actually need them, you just need them for the story. Oh, this was supposed to be a boss fight, by the way, but we don't care about those.
Scarecrow Fields.
Right now,
if you're a crow.
at kind of like, we're pretty much done with the first third of the game now. We're at the Gallow Plains. The Gallow Plains is an area that has 4 entrances. Basically, the one we came from, oh god. So the one we came from is the way you're supposed to enter that area. Then there are 3 branching paths. One of them is, well, the final path of it. And then there are 2 more where you have to collect items. One of these paths that we're on right now is not skippable, but oh my god, I clipped through that, okay. But the other one is skippable, you'll see it later. Oops. So, there are also these little segments where you'd usually have to fight a huge metal troll, but if you go into those battlegrounds while the door's closing and then save the game plus reloading it, you skip the fight, and due to the sword glitch, we can just immediately clip out of it. Now we'll repeat that again, and while I'm repeating that, I think we have another donation to be read out.
Indeed, we do. So here's $5 from nobody. Yes, that is the donation, the donor's name. And the comment goes, excited for the Resident Evil Chris any % run later. And yes, I can verify that is happening at about 1:45 a.m. That is Swedish time, of course. So yeah, you should all stick around for all of those. But yeah, back to you, Desa.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. And yeah. Now we're just basically, oh god, okay, that almost hit me. We're basically just gonna traverse through the level as almost normally, because there aren't many doors we can clip through. We're just gonna clip through some part at the end. It doesn't even save that much time. But we're gonna skip activating the machine, because the machine things count as thin doors. So we're just gonna go through them, also skip this rune, and there we go. One of the harder levels in a rundown. Now we're in Pumpkin Gorge.
Not George, Gorge. Pumpkin George hasn't been around these parts for years.
Pumpkin Gorge is a tricky level. If you just start out running it, it probably will end some runs, because you saw those little pumpkins? We want to dash as much as possible. Dashing, however, has a hitbox. And if you hit those things with any hitbox, they will immediately die. If you're too close to them, they will take 15 health away from you. If you're unlucky or if your movement is bad, you can end up getting ganged up by them and lose your run. Sometimes, like right now, I actually have really good health. Yeah, you saw it right there. I basically just lost like 50 HP just like that. Which is why I'm gonna quickly equip the chicken drumstick and show you what it does. I can throw it at enemies and they turn to chicken. And luckily, chicken is also what heals us in this game, so we can use that to restore some of our health. We're going to do that at some point in this level anyway, so we might as well do it right now. And yeah, in this level you can easily die if you don't pay attention to your health. because you can enter this level with like 10 HP remaining, and that gets very ugly very fast. Now we have a boss upcoming, the Pumpkin Serpent. I think Pumpkin Serpent was the original name, it's Pumpkin King in the remake. And we have to first slice 6 of its roots. You need to hit it 3 times, however the hits are like somewhat, they delay themselves a little bit. If you hit it before they actually count, it, depending on how early you do it, it still counts for the hit. And then you're gonna fight the Pumpkin King. The Pumpkin King is a fairly difficult boss actually. So you want to use the Warhammer that we collected in the Hall of Heroes earlier, because it's super strong. You see I already took off 1/4 of his health just with 1 attack pretty much. We're gonna charge the heavy attack, then I'm gonna run into him while having the heavy attack charged and try to hit him with as many hitboxes of that move as possible. It has 4 possible hits, and it's not easy to get them all, but well, if you practice a little bit, you get a feeling for how to do it. Oh, that's good, he's gonna attack again right away. And there we go, that's the boss. The Warhammer is a really strong weapon. You get it super early, but it's very easy to abuse. You're basically only supposed to have like 2 hits of that weapon, but because the hitbox of the spin attack, it's not like in many other games where if you get hit by a hitbox once, that hitbox is inactive for you until like the next part of the attack arrives. It's rather that there's some kind of in-game timer on it, and once that timer has run out, you're able to hit it again. So we're gonna try to either spin around the enemy while using that move, or position ourselves. In this case, on the Pumpkin King, we position ourselves in a way that we have the ending part of the spin attack still hit him again. That way we deal pretty much double damage. Now I collected a Witch's Talisman earlier to get the second Anubis Stone. We need 3 to get past that cutscene trigger that wants us to have those. You also might have seen it, you've seen it just now because I just want to show that. Those mushrooms are kind of like walls in many other games. They have one-sided collision detection, meaning if I jump from below through them, I will just clip up and I don't really have to worry about landing on them. I can be below them and just jump up again. Now for the biggest skip in a run. It's a very easy one. So we're gonna go back to Gallow Plains, and we're supposed to go to...
Big, flat, and home to a circus. What are you waiting for?
We're supposed to go to a whole nother branch for like 3 levels, one of which is super long, to get a so-called Shadow Claw. Or Shadow something Claw. Something about a Shadow Claw. However, doesn't matter, we're not gonna get it, because this door would usually open. We can skip through it. The thing about this right now, it actually puts us in a state where the game is soft-locked if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, because the entrance is never really opened up. So that means that if you didn't collect everything you need to collect in the story, at this point you wouldn't be able to continue, but if you know how to skip it, you'd usually collect the other things anyway. This level is usually really, really long. There are many bosses, many routes you have to take. And this is the door that we'd need to unlock if we would go through the 3rd passage on Gallow Plains, but due to the sword glitch we can bypass all of it. Not this puzzle though. There's a little bit of a puzzle. It is not super easy because every button turns those platforms in a different way, and you see like 4 different shapes, and each of the shapes has a predetermined space. It's the same space every single time that you have to put it on. So if I misstep once, I'll have to step on that button 3 times again for it to turn into its proper direction. And if you hit the switches in the correct order, the 3rd part of the Anubis Stone, located inside that firewall, will unlock itself. And then the last thing we have to do to get past said cutscene trigger that I talked about a few times is collect the dragon armor. Aside from like actually getting to the cutscene trigger. We're gonna get through this door, and then we're pretty much done with the level. Right there, now we skip the cutscene, and Pools of the Ancient Dead.
The Pools of the
This
Ancient
is
Dead.
probably one of the hardest levels in this run.
Everyone has to have a home.
Yeah, I personally would probably say it's the hardest level, but I guess depending on how you play the game or how much you played in the past, you might think different levels are harder. I think this one's hard because... oh, wow. Yeah, that's already one of the things. This guy can push you away from the parts. You need to collect 6 Mecha Death parts, as well as unlock the ship of the Undertaker, because for some reason he had it stolen. And yeah, we're gonna first collect the parts of Mecha Death and then go for the ship. This game is a PSP game thing. Keep that in mind. It was not built for like big environments. And this is a big environment, meaning this game will drop a lot of frames in this area. And you can notice that. It's not as bad right now, but if you don't do it properly, you can drop a lot of frames, and that makes this very hard. It can get to a point where you drop enough frames that those Mechadev parts that you're supposed to collect, you just run right through them without the game actually detecting that you collected them. So it can be a little tricky. Now here's a mandatory fight. It's... Okay, this is weird right now. Okay, it works actually. We have to defeat 6 small enemies and 2 of the big ones. The big ones we have to knock off of the stage, and the small ones we can... Oh wait, I already collected. We can go about it either way. We can knock them off the stage. We can also defeat them. Defeating them with the hammer is usually a lot easier. I'm gonna quickly stand inside this health pool, just because I have to wait for this thing to ram through the wall anyway, as it's not skippable. And then I'm gonna try and wrap up the level by collecting the last 2... Oops. That happens a lot as well. By collecting a few things. This star rune is pretty much the only rune we're gonna collect on a run. You can skip it. It saves like half a second if you do it optimally. But wow. I got bodied there. Holy moly. Actually skipping that star rune is unnecessarily difficult, and I don't want to go about it. I would usually skip going over the bridge, but those guys are not nice to me today. They're standing right where I would be able to skip it, so I'm just gonna raise this bridge. Usually you would not want to do that because it loses like 5 seconds, but those guys were exactly at the place that I needed to go to skip that bridge. So we just went for it. Now this is a little bit tricky to navigate. The game drops some frames here, and this is where we use the star rune, because the sword glitch, you notice that we get sent pretty far whenever we use it, and I guess I did it just now. But this is what usually would happen if you would try to skip the rune. Not a big deal. We still have quite a bit of health left, so we can just recover from it and move on. Pretend like nothing happened. And yeah, we collected the 6 Mechadev parts, we freed the ship, so we're gonna turn them in, and the next level starts. Scurvy Docks.
Scurvy Docks.
This
Pirates
is...
and smugglers aplenty, but not much in the way of vitamin C.
This is probably the most interesting level in this category, in my opinion, because if you played it casually, like if anyone played this game before, and actually remembers some of it, because most of you probably played it like 2008 or something, I'm gonna go about it like the complete opposite order. This gate is supposed to be the last thing you do in the entire level, but because it's right next to the beginning of the level, we just clip through it. Also, this enemy cheats because he can clip as well. He doesn't have a sword, but he just clips through it. And sometimes he does that and drains quite a bit of life from you. Luckily, that didn't happen here. So now we collected the seagull. See, I have a seagull on my shoulder. The goal of this level is basically, we want to get a ship to get to the Dragon Islands, get our dragon armor. But the harbor master doesn't really rent ships to non-pirates. So we're gonna play pretend to be a pirate by collecting a flag for a ship, as well as a pirate head, a wooden leg, and the seagull we have. And we're gonna get the flag Okay, we're gonna get the flag next. So the club is actually a fairly versatile weapon. It's not really good in terms of damage, and you see it has a durability which is not nice, but it can break things. The hammer can do so as well. And you can light it because it's wooden. Lighting it is mandatory in 2 fights, or 2 areas, and this is one of them. Oh, nice, okay. Or whatever, I would have lost that health potion at some point anyway. And basically, you need to light the cannon and position it properly to collect that flag. So now we have 2 out of 4 items for this level. There's the next one, the pirate's head. This door spawns fairly late. I don't know why. I just know you just know that it's there, so you prepare your sword glitch right before it. And this is the last item we get. We're gonna use the spade one more time, because right on this pirate's grave, there's gonna be the wooden leg. I'm gonna go for something else as well, which is not mandatory, but I think this makes later parts of the run way better. We break this rock to get this health bottle, because we will need health later. By the way, this is the rune that you would need to collect usually to get the fish to... Oops, I unequipped the seagull. To go for the seagull. And now we're going to quickly equip the pirate's gear. We have a hat, we have a wooden leg, we collected the flag, and we have a... well, bird on our shoulder. Now we need to ring the bell twice. Generally, if you play the level, the first thing you do, if you don't know how to go about it, is you ring this bell, because this guy actually tells you what to do, that you need to, well, dress yourself up as a pirate, or you know that, okay, he only gives it to pirates, blah, blah. But we can do it at the very end, because we know what he wants. I'm gonna heal up a little bit, because there's a boss fight upcoming, one of the few ones that we cannot skip, which is the dragon. If any of you guys played the original MediEvil, or maybe the remake on PS4, this is a completely different fight. It's completely reworked. Basically, there are 4 platforms, and every single platform drops down a rock. The platforms are offset by 2, so by hitting the leftmost platform, I throw down a rock on the 3rd hole, 2nd, it's 4th, and so on and so forth. You can hit multiple platforms at once, which is what I did just now, because I didn't know which the holes he would come out of, so I just hit it early to make sure that it will hit him on either of those. And we didn't have to worry about a glitch that can happen where the last platform bugs out, where you just have to restart the level. Happens rarely, but it does happen. Now the dragon itself, the second phase. He has 3 different attacks. Bite attack, an attack where he flaps his wings and sends you flying, which is the baddest. The worst one, as that costs a lot of time and you cannot hit him during it. But it's all distance based. Close distance, close range, he will bite you. Far away, he will flap his wings. And mid range, meaning not too close but also in front of this crystal, he'll breathe fire. And as you see, we can deal quite a bit of damage with our hammer here by just running into him just before he's about to breathe fire. And there we go. We got him. And just as every dragon, he is obviously intimidated and now completely scared of us. We now got the dragon armor. Okay, I needed to focus for a second there. We now got the dragon armor, so we have all the items we need. This was the cutscene. We wouldn't have been able to enter this level otherwise. So, one quick thing is that if you accidentally re-enter a level by, well, not paying attention or misclicking, you will have to complete that level. So if you do it on a run, it usually means your run is ripped because you'll lose several minutes. Okay. I'm going to be doing a few more sword glitches here, and after this one, which also gives me levitation abilities, I don't know why, we have some time for messages. Oh, wait, where's the camera? Okay, there we go. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, fantastic. Well, I'd like to take this moment here and talk about some of the prizes that are available throughout this event. For as little as $10 donated to Alzheimer Fund, and you can enter draws for some amazing, amazing prizes. If you're a fan of Cuphead, then a Cuphead mug might be right up your alley. So again, that's just $10. You could also have a plush Moogle or a trio of Bulbasaur plushes. If you up your donation to $15, you could get a map from GeoGuessr, a signed globe specifically, or a Shy Guy and Dry Bones plush. Well, 2 plushies, rather. And the higher you go, the better the prices are. So yeah, get those donations in if you want to enter in the draws for all of these amazing, amazing prizes. But yeah, back to you, Desa.
Alright, so now that we're done with the Haunted Ruins, which by the way, that level was supposed to be like 10 times longer, but we can just skip right through the end, just like with many other levels. This is one of the levels we actually have to, well, kind of play. We don't have to collect any of the runes or defeat any of the enemies to get through the doors, but we need to collect 7 powder kegs. Because this level's exit is tied to the boss, so we need to fight the boss. We're just gonna traverse in a fairly... Oh god, I did not want to fail that. We're gonna traverse in a fairly weird way, which you might have seen. For example, if you know the game, you know that I skipped the powder keg already. I jumped through some of the doors, and once that elevator disappears, thank you very much, I will be able to jump onto the roof here and run over to that powder keg. It's faster than taking the normal route. Even waiting there is still better. Not by much though, but usually just going that way compared to the original way saves you quite a bit of time and platforming. Now the boss is over there, by the way, that pirate guy, the captain. But there's no way for us to clip to him, unfortunately, and I think we never even test with any kind of out-of-bound like cheats or whatever if that fight would trigger in the first place. So we kind of have to play this level more or less normally. Normally within the realm of we glitch through every single door that we see. Now there are 3 more powder kegs left. One of them is at the very beginning of the level. One of them we're gonna collect right away, and one of them we're gonna collect by dropping down this hole, depending on which. Yeah, so there are 5 bars that are twirling around. One of them is a double bar, which we cannot jump over. If I see that one early, I just jump in a different hole, but the hole that I jumped into right now is the optimal one. It saves like a second to go for the optimal one. Now we got the final powder keg, and there we go. We're gonna use it here. Little cutscene plays. Now we're gonna equip the club again, because the club, again, it can be ignited, and we can use it to shoot the captain. This fight is a little lengthy. Nothing too much happens. We basically just have to time our hits on the cannons to shoot the captain. And every now and then, which is consistent though, he will stop in the middle for either an attack or to summon minions. If I don't mess up my timings, it should only happen 3 times. But it can always go wrong, of course. There's also a club over here where I can restore the duration of my club, which comes in handy because burning my club obviously wears it down a little. So I'm just basically lighting up every single time. Burning it once keeps it for like 17-ish%, so like 1/6 of its duration, but I rather just go to the middle and light it whenever I can, just so I have it ready and don't have it just go out on me without noticing. Now, on this next cycle, he should be summoning skeletons. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to switch to a Warhammer. I can ignore them, but optimally, I can kill them in like 5-ish seconds, but they have very bad spread right now. Because I can kill him before he moves, and if I kill him before he moves, he'll like immediately move again. So I basically skip him waiting to some degree. If he starts moving, it means I was a little too slow, but that's not too bad. Now, you see, I can also light myself on fire, so I need to be a little bit careful of when I light my club, so I don't light myself, because I can't light those cannons with my own burning body, unfortunately. So, yeah, he's gonna summon a few more minions. Hopefully this is the last wave if I don't mess up too much, because I did miss that one cannon shot, but I got the other ones earlier. Okay, those are down. There's one more. Oh, don't dodge it. They're notorious for just dodging your blows. It's very unfortunate. Okay, I missed that. Oh my god. My analog stick is screwing me right now. It just robs me of my movement. Okay, it should be 2 more hits. Maybe 1 more? Yeah, that was the last one. Okay, good. So, now we got through that guy, I'm going to quickly equip the chicken drumstick, because we'll need it in the next level. Which is, by the way, the final level. This level does take a little bit, though. It's the longest level by quite a bit. Those last 2 levels take up like a third of the run. It's like 5 minutes and now 7 or 8 minutes. We meet these guys again that we saw at Scurvy Docks, and we're gonna turn them all into chicken. Because it doesn't matter if they were machines or not, they're nothing against a chicken drumstick. It's very nice that we have them around, because later on we will have to sacrifice our own life to power up troops, but I'll go over that once it happens. So I'm gonna try and leave as much chicken on the ground as possible, because that way, luckily it doesn't spoil, that way I can heal myself up during said battle. Now there are skeleton armies appearing. I can kill them with a drumstick as well, but as you see, the Warhammer can easily take care of that as well, and I can take out like 5, 6, 7 at once. Wow, they all blocked it. They generally don't block that often, but wow. They trained. Okay. So this should be... Oh god, Okay, wait. No, don't move. Okay, I got him. Good. Now I'm gonna collect one of them, because it only gives me 50 up, so it's not wasted anyway. And this Warhammer is gonna be used for the rest of the run as much as possible. We have the chariot now, which is basically the second phase of the fight. This whole gauntlet is like 4 fights, and he shoots arrows, 6 of which I'm gonna count. I'm gonna pretend to count like he has 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because if I time it to be on his quote-unquote 8th arrow, I have him in a perfect spot where I can hit him. If he doesn't hit you often enough, he will, well, scream. 3, 4. He will like scream, lift himself up, and I can hit him. If I go to him too close, too early, he will not give me that attack window, so I kind of have to time it, which is why I'm pretending that he's shooting 8 arrows, even though it's only 6. There. And then I'll start running, dash towards him, and he should always be, like, I'm just in range that he doesn't, that he does give me this pattern. If I'm a little too close, he'll not give me that pattern, and I'll have to walk away, come back, and it's not nice. There we go. And this fight is 2 phases, by the way. So you see I'm spinning around. That's just to abuse the hitbox in my Warhammer to hit as much as possible. The shockwave's supposed to deal 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The shockwave's supposed to deal 2 hits, like the hammer as well as the shockwave, but I've been whiffing a little bit. Okay, that's the first phase. The next phase is a little similar. So the pillars will all go down and the walls come up, so it's supposed to be like more of an arena fight, I guess. And he's gonna shoot around 10, 11 arrows or something like that. I can lock onto him to strafe it a little bit, but it's not really necessary to do it that way. And basically, I just need to wait until he starts charging at me. Once he starts charging at me, I can damage him. Because if I dodge him, he will once again lose his cool, as the voice in the background said. And I am able to get in some hits. For our maximum of the Warhammer as before, if I get free hit, that's fine as well. As long as I get free hits in, that's totally fine. I'm gonna dodge every single blow. If he hits me here, unlike with the arrows earlier, if he hits me here once, he will not even give me that attack window, so I have to dodge all of his blows. The hitbox is kind of funky, so it looks like he should be hitting me, but he just doesn't. Also, he kind of has like a 0 HP gate, so once he hits 0 HP, I need to hit him again. So yeah, I needed to make sure that that one actually hits. Oh wow, nice picture. Okay, cool. So he'll drop some health flask, which is supposed to be your health for the next fight, or like some a refill, because this next fight, it takes a little to load. This next fight is basically the undead army of the bad guy clashing with your undead army. You see I have a glowing hand, and that glowing hand is the Anubis Stone. I never collected the 4th piece, but the game just gives you the full Anubis Stone anyway. And I have to keep my troops alive. I'm not able to damage the enemy troops, only my undead army can do it. And this is, not counting in like movement and all that, probably the hardest part of the run, and early in practice I actually almost lost it. It is not easy. I don't need to like overly focus on it, but I need to make sure that I watch every single one and micromanage all 7 of my troops and watch their color. The more red they become, the less health they have, and well, as you see, my health is getting lower and lower because I basically transferred over to them. And oh my god, that one's... oh, he's getting mauled. And I need to make sure that everyone survives, because it kind of snowballs. Once one of the enemy units is dead, your troops will start attacking other units, meaning I can... and it's like, it just snowballs into becoming easier and easier. That's why I also left the chicken there, so I can go over and collect it, because yes, you can die. That's also why we collect the health bottles, because if I don't have enough health to sustain my troops, this fight is actually impossible. Now, you don't actually need to collect any health bottles throughout the entire run for this, but you would have to micromanage the chicken throughout all the phases of this fight until this point very well and not collect any beforehand, take as little damage as possible. It's not worth it whatsoever. You will lose endless amount of runs. And I think that's it. Oh wait, there. Okay, that one is there. There was there. Who's left? Oh, there we go. Okay, we got him. Now, every single one that survived is gonna leave me a health vial, which is very nice. I only need like 1 or 2, but it's nice to get more of them. And now we're closing in on the last battle. This is Zarok, the little wizard you saw dancing around a little bit, mocking us. And he turned into a snake. We have to beat him now. The first attacks are always the same. You do a shockwave and then this acid spitting move. And he'll now give me a window to hit his mouth. If I hit his mouth twice, he'll reveal his tail. And if I charge a spin move and jump while I do so, I can basically follow his tail, which is flinging around with every hit I do, and deal as much damage as possible. Then he's gonna always spin his tail around, and I can never judge where it's gonna end. It's so hard. Like right there, it looks like it's gonna go way further than it does, but it doesn't actually go that far. As long as I get like 1 or 2 spins in, it's alright though. 1 is fine. And oh yeah, that also hits me. And from this point on, there's not much more to do. He's gonna dash. I will hit him a few times. There we go. He puts down his tail. And if I'm lucky, I can actually kill him right here, but... oh no, I dropped my charge. Okay, he's gonna do 1 more spin. Basically, the quickest you can do is have just 3 attack cycles on him, but this 4th attack cycle will not take long. And once I get that guy done, we're almost good to go. He's gonna retract his tail. If he retracts it early, that means you got him. He's gonna do his little dance. And once the game fades out, we're actually already done. So time comes up in a bit. Once the fade out happens. Any second now. There we go. Time. And yeah, that was MediEvil Resurrection. A super fun game. I think it's super underrated, and it was my first PSP game. I've been loving it ever since. The run is super nice, especially if you just glitch through all the doors and all that. I do want to thank a few people. First of all, the MediEvil community, of course. They're very welcoming, and they're just pretty nice people in general. It's super nice to talk to them. They're just open-minded about all of that. Bobby Kaze, who kind of reignited my passion for this game even more, because he just came to the game. He's a glitch hunter and just came to the game and completely destroyed it. The sword glitch was known, but he came with so many different strats. Basically, any funky movement that I did that wasn't related to the sword glitch, that was on him. He got so many things done. And then, of course, personal shout out to big boys. Some of them sitting right here. Luckily didn't distract me. And yeah. Thank you guys for being here, and for those who watch, of course, as well. And yeah, I guess I'll say this as well. This is actually a record. The previous world record was 39:58, and I got that yesterday while practicing just before going to bed. And we beat that by 42 seconds, and we now have a video of that, unlike the run yesterday. So yeah, 39:16 is your new MediEvil Resurrection record. Well, and yeah. With that being said, that's all from me. Thank you guys for having me. And guys, make sure to check out Kina and Kingdom Hearts 3, by the way. Good runs.
All right. Fantastic. Congratulations on world record.
Thank you very much.
Now with video proof.
Yeah,
amazing. All right. Before I send it off, a couple things. First, some donations that are left over. We have a $6.66 donation by Nevlin saying, I need to see MediEvil again next time. Desa's making this look great to run. And a $10 donation from Anonymous with no comments, but thank you both for your generosity.
Thank you very much.
We're going to be going to a quick intermission, but that's going to be it from me for today. I will see you again in 2 days, but I'm not leaving you without a proper goodbye. I'm also leaving you in the very, very capable hands of a RoboSparkle, who's going to be taking over for the next couple of runs. But yeah, we're going to be going to an intermission. I'm going to continue to plug speedrunstore.com at you for the next however long it goes. But yeah, let's do that and enjoy the next run when it arrives.
Take care, guys.